So I was unwell and sick for 9 years. And then I heard of Biosalud. My previous experience with my doctors was I had a lot of allergies, so inhaled allergies and food allergies. When I would go to many different doctors, most of them were allergists. They didn't understand what the problem was. I tried many treatments with them, and I went to many clinics in different countries in the world, different hospitals. I tried natural treatments like Ayurveda, I tried homeopathy, I tried allopathy. I felt that the doctors didn't understand all the different problems that I had in many parts of the body. When I would start talking to them that I have these 3 or 4 symptoms, they would get overwhelmed when I would tell them about 3 or 4 symptoms. But the reality was I was having about 10 or 12 symptoms every day, all the time. But because I felt that they didn't even understand the 3 or 4, I never mentioned to them more than the 3 or 4 symptoms. So it was a very difficult journey, going through these treatments and getting no results. And I found also that most doctors didn't really listen or didn't really care about the situation. And when they couldn't find anything wrong with me in the blood tests, the first thing that all doctors say is that you have a psychological or emotional problem. And that is very distressing for a patient because I knew there was something physically wrong with me, but nothing was coming up in the blood tests. So that was my medical journey for 9 years before I met Dr. Bueno. I actually went to a German doctor in my home country, and I tried treatment with him for my same illness. And when it didn't work after 6 months, then we asked him, do you know anybody else that could treat, me? And I knew it was an immune-related issue, but there's not many immune doctors. And he told me that he went on a conference with Dr. Bueno somewhere internationally, and he was very impressed with Dr. Bueno and his knowledge. And he said that if anybody was sick in his family, he would go to Dr. Bueno to treat him. Yes, so I first came to see Dr. Bueno 4 years ago for my first initial consultation in Madrid. And what I found is that he gave me a lot of time, but he wasn't overwhelmed by the symptoms that I told him. When I told him I have these 3 or 4 symptoms, he kept asking me, what more do you have? What more do you have? And I then felt comfortable to share that with him. I thought that he had a lot of knowledge because before I did any kind of blood test or test with him, he already had an idea of what my problem was. And of course, when the reports came back, it was totally correct. At that point, I didn't have much knowledge about Biosalud. I went on the recommendation, and I had been suffering for a long time. I spent more than half of the day in bed because my symptoms were so bad. And the rest of the day was a real struggle for me. So I explained this to Dr. Bueno. I was surprised by the amount of blood tests and other tests that I had to do. And I've understood from experience working with him that he only chooses the best labs that have a certain speciality. So not all the blood goes to one lab and then it's analyzed. He chooses the lab according to their speciality so that he has the most precise or accurate results. And he really checked the whole body. In English, we say it's like you try to find a needle in a haystack. I think if there's any problem with you in your body, he's the person who could actually find out what it is if other doctors couldn't. For example, I went to a very famous hospital in my home country where they said if you have a strange disease or illness, they are the only ones who would be able to find it. And when I compared the results I got from this very famous hospital to the one that I received with Dr. Bueno, it was like one was from elementary school and one was from like, a PhD. It was a huge difference in just the testing and what you could see in the tests. I was quite shocked to see the basic level of testing that most hospitals have. Now that I've had the experience with Biosalud and with Dr. Bueno, when I see most places how they test, it's very elementary for a serious problem. So when they found out what was wrong with me, I was quite surprised when I started the treatment here, because most treatment in most hospitals is, maybe some medicine or some IVs and oral medication. But I was very surprised about the level of what they did and so many different fields. So they treated me with allopathic medicine, as well as things like bioresonance, with homeopathic remedies, with supplements, with a whole range of things. And I was quite happy that even the medications that they prescribed for me, for example, I had to have some antibiotics, that it was a special kind of antibiotics that would give less side effects to the patients. And it was a much more effective antibiotic, so it could penetrate almost in any tissue and all organs of the body. And I was very impressed by that. And as time has gone on, I've seen how Biosalud keep adding facilities and machines to the hospital here. For example, the INUSPheresis I had, there's only very few of them in few clinics of the world. I've had that before, and I've noticed a huge difference with my body in general after that. And I'm quite amazed about the functions of INUSPheresis, what it can do. It can help people with a whole range of diseases, because the base philosophy here, I think, is the same, is to treat the body as a whole, to treat the patient, not the disease, to activate the immune system so much so that the body can actually fight the disease or the problem you're having itself, and to completely clean and detoxify the body so that the body is able to respond better and to fight illnesses better. So I think the philosophy is very good, because your body is the best healer given the right circumstances. So if I look at the nurses, I think that they're very helpful and caring, and they really care about the patient. Even the environment in the room, how to make you comfortable. But I think it's all driven by Dr. Bueno. I think he's a very intelligent and caring doctor. He goes out of his way to find out about all the new facilities that are available, the new machinery, the new medications that are available for the patients. And he tries to make the experience as pleasant as possible. I think he tries to help hold his patients on an equal level, and he gives them a lot of care and attention, and he thinks about his patients a lot, even after clinic hours, to work on their cases or to add more things to their treatments so they get the best possible results. I think what they offer here in Biosalud is not just medical facilities, it's somebody who wants the best outcome for the patients with the minimal side effects, and they want the patients to benefit long term and to lead a healthy life going forward, which I think that most hospitals have a very limited viewpoint about getting the patient better from that particular illness. And they focus on suppressing the symptoms rather than finding out what is the root cause of those symptoms and addressing the root cause, because most likely that problem will come back, or you are just treating the symptoms, you're not treating the base problem. And that's what I like about here, is Dr. Bueno tries to get to the root problem.